Hello, welcome to Should I Buy This Game featuring Spooktacular. My name is Christine, and in this video I'll give you an overview of how the game is played and then share a few things we may like or dislike about the game to help you decide if you want to add Spooktacular to your collection. This is the game Spooktacular. And so in this game, lightning has struck the theater and the monsters have jumped from the screens, and they're now here to terrorize all the guests. As they go to a room, they can spook the guests, making them to run to different rooms. They can devour the guests. And in doing so, you're trying to get all the way around the board to 50 points. Now, just because you hit 50 points, it doesn't mean you won the game, because if you've devoured guests, you've received some tickets, and these tickets will be worth extra points at the end of the game. So we're going to go through to explain how you spook and devour your guests. So to start off, you have to pick which monster you're going to be. There are 20 different monsters in the game, and they have different levels from easy to intermediate and advanced. Now, each of these monsters have different asymmetric abilities. So for example, Charles here, if you spooked this turn, devour all guests in your room. That is just an ability he can do. As well, if there's a monster in the room, he spooks them as if they were a guest. So those are just what he has. So some of these different people, a few of them have different things you're working towards. Each time you devour a guest of a certain color, you move along the board. And so they're all each a little different, giving you some different abilities. So we are going to play with Charles, but we've also set up the boom box, and we've set up the Devil's Game. So they're just represented here. So we're going to just use Charles as our example. So there are two types of cards, basic cards and unique cards. So in the basic cards, these are the cards that everybody's going to get. There's a set for each player. And the unique cards are based on who you're picking. So we have the deck here, and there's the little photos. And depending on the character, they usually have 2 to 3 cards each. So that one only has 2 cards. So depending, you just pick the cards you need, and then you just want to shuffle them up, because this is going to determine what you're able to do. So in the thing we have here, we place Charles in any room. We draw 3 cards. He has 5 basic and 3 unique. And our turn is we're going to play a card. If spooked this turn, devour all guests in your room. Move another figure in your room. And the other figure is typically another person. If there's no people, you can move somebody else's monster. And then you can draw back to 3 cards. And Charles spooks other monsters. If they were guests, he gains points from them normally. So let's go over here and we'll set up Charles and the 3 cards. So first though, I think I'm going to show you the basic cards. So we have, everybody gets a set of these. So there's move, play a card. So that's moving your person from one room to another. So say if there's only 2 people in this room, and you're like, I want to spook, I need a room with more, I could move into a room with more people. Add 3 guests, play a card. So this is great if you're looking to devour a spook and you want more people in the room, then you can add 3 guests. And that comes from the bag here that has all the guests. Move all monsters in your room, gain 2 points per player moved. So that would be, if we were here, then we would move the monsters into our room and we would gain 4 points in this case. Spook, then spook again. Spook is where you gain all your points. So this person here, there are 7 doors in the room. Now, when we set up, we put 1 less guest per room. So when you spook, you can spook depending on how many doors there are. So he'd be able to spook all six guests because they would go through all the different doors. And he would earn 6 points. So that is spooking. And you want to do that because that is how you get all your points. Now, in times when there's spook and spook again, later if there's more people in the room, he'd only be able to spook once because everybody would be gone. But if you were in a smaller room and there were more than, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 doors here. If there were more than 4 people, then you could spook again to get extra points. So that's when the spook and spook again comes in handy because you can clear out a room and get all those points. And then devour a guest of each color. So this person in this case could devour the pink, the green, the yellow, and a blue guest because that's the different colors. There's 5 colors in total. There's also a red. Once you have a set, that is how you will receive a ticket to get extra points at the end of the game. The game ends when all of the tickets, there's 2 per player. So I would have 2 more in this case with 3 people. When all the tickets are gone or when somebody hits 50. That's what triggers the end of the game. So if you were to devour 4, you would just place them on your player board. And once you have the 5th color, you would trade them in for a ticket. And that's basically, those are all the basic cards. And then we're just adding in the cards that he has. So let's see, he has steal 3 points from a player in your room, spook. So if he was here, he would take 3 points away from this player, add 3 points to his score, and then he would spook. Add 3 guests and spook. So that's great because if you're in a room that doesn't have the full amount of guests, you could add 3 more guests and then spook, and you would get those extra guests moving out and getting points. And switch places with the figure in a connected room, play a card. And a figure can be either a person or a monster. So if we were here, we could switch places with them and then spook and get the extra points because there's 6 players, the 6 little guests here versus 4. And that's basically what you are doing in this game is you're given out. So I'll show you now. I'll just randomly shuffle this. You deal 3 cards. And so you play a card. So if you're playing move, play a card, you would play that one first. Add 3 guests, play a card. That one allows you to play a second card. And then switch players, play a card. So all of these allow you to play an additional card. But if you run out of cards, I'm pretty sure you're done because you only have the cards showing. So you play a card. If spooked, then you can devour it. Then after everybody plays a card, then they move. And so you would move to a connecting room through any of the doors. There are a few rooms that are closed for in a 2 to 4 player game. And then he has the additional thing of move another figure in your room and then draw back up to 3 cards. So if you've played all these cards, this is when you would refresh your deck. You do not refresh it during your turn. And then you would have these cards to use on your next turn. And you decide which you want to do. Are you going to spook? Are you going to devour, etc. And it's all based on how many people are in a room, how many colors are in a room, which is more advantageous to you to do that turn. And that's basically what you're doing. You're spooking, which is moving people out of the doors and scoring you points, 1 per person. You're devouring, which gets you, once you have a set, you get a ticket. And you're just trying to be the first to 50 points. Now there is a solo mode and you use Killtron 3000, but you do not actually use his player board. You're just using his token, placing it down, and cards. So in this book under solo mode, it tells you we're building 3 decks of cards, which cards would appear in each of the decks, and then it gives you some movement rules when you're moving people and devouring people. And all you would do is you reveal the first card from each pile. And on your turn, on the Kiltron's turn, you're just going to the first card and doing what it says. So it says, move a figure from a connected room into your room. So if he's here, he would want to move this one into his room. And that would be his turn. And so it's just moving players around. Now, you can use the solo mode with up to 4 players. So if you want more monsters on the board, if you're playing up to 4 players, you can use them even for the 5th player just to have more action going on and having the little guest moving about a lot more and adding more guests to the board. So it's very simple to use, and it would be a great addition in higher player counts as well. So overall, we really enjoy playing Spooktacular. It's just a fun, easy little game where you're either spooking your guests to gain points or devouring them to get tickets to gain points at the end of the game. Now, the one thing is, though, that there are 20 different monsters, and out of 20, there's 1 female monster. And there are so many females in the horror movie genre that we thought they could have included more than 1 female. This character looks like she's female, but she's actually a boombox, so not necessarily female. So we just wish that out of the 20, there would be more female representation. The other thing about the game is I think it's best played at a higher player count. I played solo 2 and 3 players, and when you're playing solo and 2, you just don't get that same craziness of all the people moving all over the place. At 3, it was a bit better, but I think if you could get 4 or 5 players into this game, that is when it would reach the height of greatness, I guess. Like where you really have each time somebody is moving everybody out of the way, players are going all over, more players are being added. I think at the highest player count you can get, this game is where it really excels. At 3 players, it was still good, but at solo and 2, we just found it a little not as exciting as we wanted it to be. But otherwise, as I said, it's a very straightforward game. I really like the concept of it. I like the whole like scaring the people and the monsters taking over. I just think it's sort of fun. So let me know if you have played Spooktacular and what you think of this game.